A portrait of U.S. President Donald Trump painted with horse manure by a BC artist has sold for $1,800.
Ah, yes, but to me, it's priceless. So, we have got some great new Trump protest art from around the world to highlight, from that Canadian artist to the gay community of Europe showing pride in humiliating our wannabe dictator. I will show it all to you right after you help me out. Hit subscribe to Really American Media right here on YouTube and over on Substack. All right, we'll head to Europe in a moment, but let's start off with our friends in the Great White North.
What's drawing crowds like flies at the Souk Art Show isn't really art imitating life, but rather animating a famous face.
My first thought was, who would waste their time? But then I read what it was made from.
Yes, it's made from the same thing that Trump spews daily, horse shit.
The Dawn of Dung is a painting, kind of. It's just made of different stuff.
Because he's full of shit.
I thought at first perhaps it might have been coffee, because coffee is a popular medium for creating monotones like that.
Oh, that's not coffee.
No, apparently it's horse shit.
Now, apparently, it's definitely horse shit, and you really have to despise someone to play with feces just to show us all his true colors. If a mental patient did that, they would up his meds. But in Canada, where hatred for Trump is at an all-time high, the only thing that was upped is the price it sold for.
We've had many provocative pieces in the show over many years, and it's a delight, actually, how much it engages and inspires conversation in people.
All the art is for sale. This piece reeled in $15,000, and on the first day of the show, someone saw this face and fell in love. The Dawn of Dung sold immediately for $1,800 to an anonymous buyer.
And hey, I wish I was that anonymous buyer, and I do love art and hate Trump, but I'm not sure I could actually hang this art piece of shit in my house. And I'm not saying the portrait is bad. It's actually very good, but it definitely stinks. And again, it's not a commentary on the brushstrokes, but the fact that it's full of shit, just like Trump.
Hi, is this Wendy?
I wanted to hear straight from the horse's mouth what compelled the artist to create something straight out of the horse's. Wendy Chartrand's creation was born out of frustration with what she sees and hears in the news.
I was really surprised that it sold that morning, and really happy because I didn't want it back. It's like, what do you do with that, right?
And that's exactly my point. The artist doesn't even want it back. And back in 2024, I didn't think that voters wanted Trump back either, and I was wrong about that. But something tells me it wasn't a Trump lover who bought this piece of shit. My money's on Melania.
Take the T out of Trump, and what's left is the ultimate crowd pleaser.
Who would not want Donald's face drawn in poo?
For Wendy, it's an outlet.
You can't do anything about things, so it's good to laugh about it.
An inspiration is everywhere.
Yes, inspiration is everywhere on the topic of making fun of Trump, including in the Netherlands at a Pride event. And this is one of those rare times that Grandpa Donnie won't enjoy seeing his face at the center of attention. Yep, not only is another country making fun of Trump and his bromance with Putin, but it's at a Pride event, and I absolutely love how much Trump will absolutely hate that. Although maybe he won't. He is constantly commenting on good-looking men.
President Donald Trump has found himself at the center of fresh controversy after being mocked at one of Europe's biggest Pride celebrations. At Amsterdam's world-famous Pride Canal Parade, a float grabbed instant attention with two giant inflatable figures resembling Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin leaning in for a kiss.
And just for the record, I want to point out they decided to make Trump the one wearing the dress in this relationship, which is appropriate since he's constantly getting bent over by Putin.
The oversized figures were dressed in traditional blue and white Delft-style outfits, each holding a tulip, recreating the look of the iconic Dutch souvenir figurines found across the Netherlands. The parade drew hundreds of thousands of spectators, with around 80 decorated boats making their way through Amsterdam's famous canals, turning the city into a sea of rainbow colors, music, and celebration.
I love everything about that, especially the part where they're both holding tulips, since tulips are what they're using for this authoritarian makeout session.
The organization behind the float later explained the idea on its website. It said the display was created not to provoke people, but to pause power for a moment and remind everyone of something human. The eye-catching display quickly became one of the biggest talking points of the parade.
I bet it was. And Trump protest art from around the world is always a hit, as long as you're not a Cult 47 member. We saw that classic opera in Germany making fun of Trump with an entire show about what a big fat baby he is. There was that Mount Rushmore of dictators in Thailand. That was actually at a new shopping mall. France humiliated our wannabe king with a portrait of a weeping Statue of Liberty. When Trump visited the UK, this giant banner of him and his BFF was sprawled out on the lawn of a castle. In Switzerland, they did an art display of Trump on death row. If only. And here stateside, we have seen everything from the recent Trump participation trophy for the Iran war to the Golden Dome parody of his missile defense shield that would cost a mere $3 trillion and experts say would not work no matter how many tax dollars we throw at it. And all of this is why the world continues to make fun of Trump and America. From pride events in the Netherlands to shitty pictures of Trump out of Canada. And to the rest of the world, please bear with us. We're doing our best. We're going to vote in some accountability this November, and then maybe picks like this will actually come true. In the meantime, please like this video and comment below to get vocal. From the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve podcast, available everywhere you get podcasts at, so go find it and hit subscribe. I'm Steve Harness for Really American Media.